Hi guys, welcome to Detroiter Tales. I'm Kevin, and this is episode 5. Today we're going to talk about change. We're also going to talk about trade. We are also going to talk about generosity. Change. Make or become different. Take or use another instead of. And that is the verb form. To use it as a noun, the act or instance of making or becoming different. Coins or opposed to paper currency. So change. We all experience change in our lives, some good, some bad, some we don't plan on, some we do. But change. What I want to talk to you specifically about is, are you willing to change? Sometimes we're not willing to change. Sometimes we are set in our ways. Sometimes we are living inside of a box and we can't see change. In this particular instance, we're talking about what happened to us, Billy Joe and I, and Nora, and our other pets, and our homestead. We had to change. Some of that change is hard. Some of that change is easy. Some of the change we just can't see. Sometimes change is indifferent. Sometimes change is not any different. The change that we made helped change our lives. The willingness to change our lives and shift. We shifted from a very rural area, a very rural community, living at the end of the road, 4 miles off the pavement, 8 miles from a city. And it wasn't really even a city, it was a town or a village. And sometimes not even much of a community. And I can illustrate that in some of our videos. And we sometimes are very resistant to change. Let me tell you something. We were very resistant to change. We couldn't see a way how to change. We exhausted, Billy Joe and I specifically, we exhausted a lot of our options. We explored many different resources and exhausted some of those resources. We didn't see how we could change. We were in a situation that didn't allow us to change. We couldn't change our jobs. We actually, on Billy Joe's side, we exhausted the employment opportunities locally. We couldn't see the change coming to a urban environment. We thought about it. We exercised it, but there was roadblocks. Mechanical roadblocks with our vehicle, financial roadblocks. So we didn't see that we could change. Self-Reliant Roadshow came in. Bob and Mrs. B and all of you guys helped us change. We were still resistant. There was roadblocks put in place by others. There was roadblocks put in place by environment. There's roadblocks put in place by our pets that we had. We had 4 pets. Nora, Remy Dog, Cocoa Puff, and Bailey. Those were roadblocks that we actually put in place of our. Those were roadblocks that we put up. We felt that we couldn't make a change to an urban environment because there was no place that we could have our 4 dogs. There was no place that we could have our greenhouse and our garden. We felt that there was no place that would allow us to live the life as rural homesteaders that we wanted to. Bob and Mrs. B helped us. Our supporters helped us. Our followers helped us. Our subscribers helped us. You helped us change. We were living inside of a box that we couldn't see a way out of. Again, exhausting our resources. We put up roadblocks. We didn't think we could change. Even up to the day that we received the keys for this place, we were resistant to change. Excuse me. We rehomed Bailey and Cocoa Puff. They went to a wonderful home. We rehomed Remy Dog, Nora's brother. He went to a wonderful home. We didn't think we could change that, and we did. Certainly, there was some pain involved in that. Not physical pain, but hardship and heart pain with that change. But we made that change. We did it. I'm feeling it right now. Love for our animals, and Nora's a lot happier right now. I've seen some comments on our channel and some recent videos that Nora seems so happy being an only child, and she is. She's adjusting well to the urban environment. She's happy. She's a little more vocal, which is interesting. She talks to us a lot more. She's happy. And maybe that was a needed change for us to be able to devote the time to her. Being able to devote the time to Billy Joe and Kevin. And also being able to devote the time to our channels. Hope This Works, Making Sawdust. I didn't see I could change where I was living because I had a workshop. Bob and Mrs. B allowed us to see that change. There's a basement downstairs. This certainly isn't ideal, but we can change that. Andrew the Bearded Giant is going to be here in just about a week. And he's going to dedicate 5 days to helping his friends out. Again, that's touching me right here. I've never met the man personally, except for online. Lots of phone calls, lots of direct messages, lots of interaction online. And I know him. And I just can't wait to meet him, to help us change. We're going to be setting up the workshop downstairs. Something I desperately needed. Something for years I've been trying to set up my workshop and get it the way I needed it to be. Electricity and my tools all set up in a clean area and a warm area and a cool area in the summer. And I couldn't see that change. But because of you helped us change. And again, it touches me in here. So thank you. Thank you for helping us change. Trade. Let's talk about trade. What are you willing to trade? Not trading an item for another item, or a product for another product, or time for time. All of it. What are you willing to trade? Well, again, resistance. I don't know if we were willing to trade the rural lifestyle for an urban lifestyle. But we found out we can. We were able to trade. We were able to trade the time to be able to dedicate to other areas of our life. We were willing to trade the stress and the anxiety for happiness and prosperity. We were willing to trade love for 4 animals to dedicate our time and love to one. I'm willing to trade, and Billy Joe's willing to trade some of the rural homesteading for urban homesteading. Our channel will switch a little bit and shift a little bit, trading some time, trading some products, trading our love to give to you. We're going to do some urban homesteading, some urban gardening. I'm going to be making sawdust, and I'm going to trade my time, tools, and talent. I took that from you, Bob. Thank you. I'm going to trade my time, tools, and talents to turn it into products and love, compassion for others. I was willing to trade a big greenhouse that I built, that I dedicated a lot of time to, in 5-foot tall Italian heirloom tomatoes. I was willing to trade that to a new neighbor that just moved in right before the roadshow showed up at our rural homestead. It showed compassion and caring and love for those folks that just moved in. They're caring for our tomatoes and our carrots and our cucumbers and our cauliflower. And it showed them compassion and willingness to trade. Those folks and Billy Joe and I are in constant communication to this day. I talked to them yesterday, and I was willing to trade a wonderful neighbor that we just met to move away. And we were saddened to go. They were saddened to see us leave. But we'll send each other Christmas cards. We'll talk to each other on the phone. We'll share Facebook messages. And that's beautiful and wonderful. But we made a relationship, and we built community, even though we left that community. So I encourage you, what are you willing to trade? Are you willing to step outside of your box? Can you see outside of the box? Can we be an inspiration for you? I hope so. I want you to be able to trade something in your life to brighten another life. Encouragement and generosity is the next thing. We want to encourage each and every one of you. The person that is watching this video right now, you. I want to encourage you to be willing to trade, willing to change, and willing to look outside of that box when you think all hope is lost and there's no other options and there's no other way. I want to encourage you to pray. I want to encourage you to build community within your community, whether it's a small town or a metro area or your little city block. And I want to encourage you to trade and change if you have to. Out of that becomes growth. Out of that becomes love and compassion and spirituality and prosperity and bright futures. What can you give back? Give back to your community. Generosity is not all about giving. Sometimes it's hard to give, especially when you have nothing to give. I want you to be generous. Generous with your time, your talents, your love, your message. Be generous. Because sometimes that's all we have to give. Not financials, not products, not items, not our physical being, but time and generosity. Tell you a little story. We met a young couple not too long ago when we moved here. They live on our block. A pregnant young couple of 20-somethings. He offered to do some work for me, and I've given him a few dollars, and he helped me out. We cleaned out the basement downstairs. He was very willing to trade his time. And I traded some money. Not that we have a lot. I actually sold a few items on Facebook Marketplace that afforded me to pay him, and that helped them out. They sent us a message this morning on Facebook, and he has recently lost his job, and she's working, and they're renting an apartment. They've fallen on some hard times, as many of us all have. And we were willing to help. We were willing to be generous. We were willing to not hand out, but to hand up. Billy Joe is at the grocery store right now with that young couple, buying some items for them, some toilet paper and some soap and some other things that are going to help them out through the next few weeks of their pregnancies. And he's willing to trade some time, some work, which is going to help me. I'm not able physically to do a lot of this stuff here, moving my heavy tools downstairs, but I want to be able to help them out. We spoke to them in a non-judgmental way, in non-parental way, but in a mentoring way. And I wish at some point in my life there was more people like that. We've received that. Bob and Mrs. B and each and every one of you folks has given us non-judgmental and non-parental guidance and hope and encouragement. And we want to be able to give that back. I sold another item this morning on Facebook Marketplace that afforded us the opportunity to give something back. So it came out in the wash. The money I made off the smoker that I sold this morning is buying groceries and some toiletries for this young couple. Some of the canned goods that Bob and Mrs. B left at our house is going to that young couple. We're passing that on. We're willing to trade. We're willing to be generous. And we're willing to change. I want to encourage each and every one of you, and especially you watching right now, be willing to trade, willing to be generous, willing to give back, and willing to change. Thank you for joining us here at Hope This Works. Thank you for watching Detroiter Tales. We want to be the encouragement and the inspiration and the motivation to give you hope, to give you what it is you need, because you've given us what we need. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you, each and every one of you, for watching this video. Each and every one of you for trading your time and your generosity to spend it with us here at Hope This Works. Channel all about inspiration, education, motivation, creating curiosity, not building snowmen, creating community, building relationships, trading, changing, willingness, and encouragement. As always, hope this works.